Hello everyone. In today's video, I test 4 different Killbox defense systems against 2 different raids. One a pirate raid and one a Mechanoid raid. First we have a standard Killbox set up for chain shotgun length with spike traps and turrets and everything. We have a choke door point. This is typically 3x3. I have it 3x4. And we have a column hallway Killbox. Lastly, we have a Killbox, which I have decided to call the Corner Killer. The Corner Killer allows you to use the diagonals between walls to melee attack as they're coming through. And I did not invent this method, but same as the column hallway is something that was introduced to me by other content creators. The one thing that you should definitely know is the various resources that go into these different kill boxes. Obviously, the standard kill box and the column hallway are resource intensive, where the corner killer and the choke point are not. This colony, it should be noted, has 9 fighters. Of the 9 fighters, we have 4 of them equipped with melee weapons, some axes, a knife, and a sword. The person with the club is not going to be out. We have 2 chain shotguns, 1 assault rifle, 1 bolt action, and 1 revolver. You will notice that they do have flak vests and dusters, most of which are made with thrombo fur or devil strand. I think this is pretty reasonable for mid-game. Obviously, they're pretty well armored, but they could be wearing marine or recon armor. As you can see with the raid that we've spawned, the pirate raid, 25 raiders, and most of them have shield belts. We don't have any shield belts. They also have a lot of flak armor, 1 person with an assault rifle, melee weapons approximate to ours. We're going to try taking the pirates on with the choke point. It should be noted that in order for this to work, I used staging raids, and of course I made sure to open the appropriate door before the raid began its attack. If you have all of the doors closed, this will not work. You need to make sure that your kill box of choice has its doors propped open. Now, with the choke point in the pirate raid, we're doing pretty well. We have 3 melee people in the front holding the choke point, and then shooters behind there. As you can see, in this case, I do have 1 melee person on backup to keep the choke point strong. This person with marine armor takes a little while to go down. No one can pass the person that's in the front, and so they're just kind of waiting their turn to be slapped by my melee pawns. Worked very well. We had 1 person that took a stab and got some bruises and no other injuries. So really only our tank in the very front took any damage. That's incredible. Let's do the pirate raid in the standard kill box. The standard kill box, should be noted, has 17 steel spike traps, 15 of which are in the hallway and are required to be passed over by the raiders before getting to the pawns. With this setup, it should be noted that if they pass over 15 spike traps at 45 steel a spike trap, that is 675 steel per raid that you will need. And that's not counting the rearming costs of the turrets in this kill box, just these spike traps. Obviously, the spike traps are very effective. As the raiders pass over the spike traps, actually it takes out enough of them that the raid flees. Seems great, right? Except for rearming those spike traps with 675 steel per raid. It also requires a lot of resources to build this standard kill box. For years of playing RimWorld, I always use the standard kill box. It amazes me now that I realize it's not very effective. Let's try the same kill box without the spike traps. In this case, we've opened the doors so they can just walk over. They hit 1 or 2 of the spike traps, but most of them they're not able to hit. Now they're going directly for the turrets. We're bringing the melee people down to melee. Of course, now we're dealing with friendly fire from our own shooters, or we could be. If we bring our melee people back up towards the top, away from the turrets, one that'll save them from the turrets exploding. But this is as you can see, not going well for our colonists. We have no choke point. They're kind of overwhelming us. And the only reason why it went so poorly was because they were able to pass by the spike traps. Now, if you account for a kill box that has recently been raided and all the spike traps have not been rearmed, then that's basically what this is. And it has cost the colony. So this would be what it would be like if we had just been raided and we were taking on a raid again and all those spike traps are disarmed, needing to be rearmed. We're going to try it again with about half the spike traps. Now that we've closed that one door and opened the other, they're skipping over that first row of spike traps. As you can see now, they're making it inside the kill box, but the spike traps were able to take out numerous of the raiders. And we're melee fighting a little bit for sure. Our turrets are doing a lot more work in this example. Also, the turrets are proving as a little bit of a distraction to help us focus on fighting the ones that have approached our colonists. And as you can see here, they're fleeing. We took some damage. We have some bruises. Toby's nose was shattered. Okay, some more bruises. Definitely some injuries. Crack and a bruise. Okay, but the nose being shattered was the only missing body part. Depending on how many resources you have, you might not be able to rebuild your spike traps between every raid. So it is my opinion that we shouldn't be using these standard kill boxes anymore at all. I'd like to show you all the column hallway next. So taking on the exact same raid in the column hallway, we do face a little bit of an issue with friendly fire. As you can see, our colonists are a little bit stationed apart in order to get some cover. Because of the columns and the way that they're pathed through this hallway, it forces them to spread out a bit. The nice thing about this is we get the same choke point that we had with the initial choke point that I showed you all, but we have this beautiful single file line of raiders coming at us, and it gives us the opportunity to really focus on them one at a time. Now, in this case, this is a pretty melee heavy group, so you don't really see it as much in this example, but if there were shooters, it should be noted that they can't stop to shoot on those columns. If they're stopped otherwise, they may be able to shoot, but they can't stop if there's room for them to move forward. So this forces them to move forward down to your melee pawns and gives us a chance to shoot at them for a while before they have the chance to shoot at us. Now, you will note that Toby went down. One of our melee people did go down. The person in the front row did go down. They're not actually that beat up. Gracie also took some damage in the front row, and the pirates are fleeing. Now, I just wanted to go back over the armor that some of these are wearing. You might think that we're pretty well equipped with all those thermofur dusters, but they have a lot of flak jackets. They also have Devil Strand, and we do have one person in the Raiders with marine armor. None of our colonists have any armor like that, so just keep that in mind. Now we're going to try the corner killer with the same raid. As you can see, we have people set up at the angles to melee them as they walk through. They are being, once again, kind of pathed in a way that splits them into a single file line, although in this case, they've aggregated a lot more close together. They are making it through the corner killer. They're definitely making it through the corner killer, and Michelle has taken some damage, for sure. I'm bringing in Eat Without a Table to be much closer. Dieter I'm also going to bring to be closer so they can actually use their chain shotgun because they weren't using it. And as you can see now, Boss in the corner with the marine armor and the assault rifle is now shooting at us. No, non-violent, no. Go away. Boss is now shooting at us, and that's problematic. The column hallway didn't allow for that. But we're kind of wrecking them. I mean, yes, I'm doing a little bit of management. I'm moving some pawns so that way they can keep getting shots in. We don't have to move the pawns at all with the choke point or the column hallway. I really haven't used the corner killer very much, so for me, I think the reason why I'm moving pawns around is because I'm not as familiar with it. You can see Eat Without a Table has one little cut and a bunch of bruising. overall, they look really good. Michelle has some bruising, but also looks like they'll be fine. So I would consider this a success. And in terms of resources, it's only slightly more than the choke point. The doors do require quite a bit of resources, but not as much as a traditional kill box or the column hallway. Now we're going to try the same 4 kill boxes with a Mechanoid raid. This Mechanoid raid has 2 pikemen, 2 lancers, and 5 scythers. As you can see, once again, the spike traps took out all of the raiders without them even approaching us. If we try to use no spike traps, they're going to walk right in. And we are using EMPs because if it was a Mechanoid raid, you would want to have EMPs. Something that we didn't see with the pirate raiders, which is they're stunning the scythers in the middle. That's giving us a chance to get more shots. It's if we bring in our melee people, we can catch them in melee. Problem with our melee people and this kind of kill box is there's really no protection for them, and they're at risk of severe friendly fire in that position. So really, this kill box is meant for more heavy-duty shooting than anything else. It does do well against the Mechanoids, but we remember how this went when they were pirates and there were 25 of them. Pretty standard raid size, 25 pirates, and it wrecked our colony. In this case, we have a couple of bruises here. 1 crack. Actually, one of those bruises was friendly fire from a revolver. Love that. Now we're going to try the Mechanoids in the choke point. The choke point, same setup, except now we have EMPs instead of the backup melee person. Should be noted that they did hit those 2 spikes that are on the edge. It's only one of the scythers that hit them, and that one scyther is severely damaged. Now, in this case, they did approach us. They could have shot at us from a distance, maybe because of the side of the building it was on. But they did approach us to walk into melee choke point. Perfect. Gracie's taken some damage, but we took out all the lancers and scythers pretty quickly. Gracie actually fell down. We're going to have Gracie re-equip and get back into position. They are bleeding out in 5 hours. Maybe we'll put them in a secondary melee position, but definitely a bit injured. See, here we go. The pikeman is actually stopping to take shots at us because they have a clear line of sight. That is a risk with this setup for sure. But there we go. We took out the entire mech raid with the choke point. I would say that the choke point is probably one of the best ways to take on breachers, because in the case of breachers, you're not going to be able to use your kill box. So if you do have breach raiders, maybe try just taking them on with the choke point. Open a doorway. We're going to try the Mechanoid raid in the column hallway. Same thing. We do have EMPs. Something stopped the pathing of the Lancer. It was gunning up to shoot at us, but it was not able to shoot at us before we took it down. This is a very, very effective defense. And they're stunned. They're stuck. The Scyther that isn't stunned is stuck behind the one that is, giving us a chance to take them all out. The pikemen are now coming. They're a bit slower, so they're in the back. Now, a couple things to note. They shouldn't be able to stop and shoot from the columns, but occasionally they can, depending on whether or not there are corpses or if there's something else that stops them. They also typically file in single file line, but if there is something slowed down or stopped in front of them, sometimes they can pass it. It's not a guaranteed thing that they won't stop and shoot at you. It just helps a lot. Try the same Mechanoid raid in our corner killer. Michelle is able to get EMPs through the diagonals of the walls. I think this is a little bit of a better setup because all of our shooters are really ready for any that make it through. We can also catch them in melee pretty well. Okay. E without a table is bleeding out. 3 cuts from a scyther blade, sure, but they'll be fine. Venus, once again, wanting to get involved. Venus, you should probably not be here. Let's get these pikemen. Come on. See, they're getting caught in melee. One, the doors slow them down. The doors slow them down substantially, but they're also getting caught in melee. If you want to see doors slowing down raiders, definitely check out Adam versus Everything in the Singularity video. It's absolutely incredible. I'll drop a link in the description or in the comments below. I didn't include that one because he does such a great summary of it, but these 4 are my favorite, most common in my playthroughs, so that's why I highlighted them in this video. I hope this has been helpful information. As you can see here, the corner killer, though it is very, very OP and a little bit of an exploit of the game, I would say, to shoot through the corners. It's not necessarily my favorite. We definitely are taking some damage as they make it around the corner. You could try doing a bigger one for a bigger colony, but I think I generally will stick with the column hallway or the choke point. Definitely not recommend using a standard kill box anymore. If anything, just do the spike trap hallway. Just do the spike trap hallway and then stand at a choke point at the end of a spike trap hallway. Of course, there are many types of raids, drop raids, sieges. You're going to have to be prepared for all of them. But this video helps show you how to handle standard non-siege drop raid, non-breachers. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what your favorite kill box is to use. Eat Without a Table will be spending the rest of the day recovering. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a good one.